Hello and welcome to Relatable Code. In this video, we're going to talk about edit texts in XML. So let's get started. An edit text in Android is a type of view that can help you process some user input. Some user input which may be a username or a password, or basically anything that the user can enter into a text field. Okay? Creating an edit text is very easy. You go to your palette here, you won't find it in the comment tab, you have to click on the text tab, and the edit text is called a plain text in the palette. Okay, so drag that plain text into your XML. It's currently constrained horizontally. We need to add a vertical constraint. Okay, you can constrain it to the top, you can constrain it to the bottom. It's your choice. Okay, I constrained it to the top of my screen and I gave it a top margin of 100 dp. Okay, and that's the edit text basically. Let's go to the split so that we can see its properties. And here, as you can see, you have some new properties which are different from those of the text view. Okay, you have a property, for example, which is called EMS. And EMS is basically something that limits the number of characters inside the edit text if the width of that edit text is set to wrap content. Okay, and EMS specifies that this is the number of capital N's which this edit text can handle. Okay, let's set it to 6, for example, and here inside the text attribute, let's enter 6 capital N's. As you can see here, they almost fill up the entire width of that edit text. Okay, if you enter some more M's right here, they won't get processed. Okay, that's because you have a width of wrap content and you have an EMS of 6. Okay, let's reset that. I don't use EMS a lot. It can lead to inconsistencies sometimes. Okay, so let's delete that. Underneath EMS, you have input type equals to text. And I'm going to run the application so that you can see how it works. Okay, let's run our application right here. And that's the application. Let's click on that edit text to prompt the keyboard. And as you can see, you have a keyboard which has basically all the letters of the alphabet and some digits as well, in addition to special characters. Okay, the input type here was text, which basically permits any type of input. Okay, let's restrict that to, for example, let's see what options we have here. Input type equals to, let's try out number. Okay, double click on number and delete that text from there. Rerun your application. Click on that edit text, and as you can see, now you are only restricted to numbers, basically. That's the input type of number. If I use, for example, input type equals to text password, let's run the application again. Let's try to enter some text here, and as you can see, that's the default behavior of passwords. Okay, that's because we chose an input type of text password. Okay, and that's the input type attribute of edit texts. Okay, in addition, there's something that we're going to use a lot, and that's called the hint. Okay, let's enter a hint here so that you can see how it works. Let's run the application. And as you can see, you have a text that appears to be a little light in color. Okay, but if I click on the edit text and I try to enter any text, you can see that the hint disappears. Okay, and if I delete that text, the hint reappears. And that's very useful when you want to prompt the user to enter any kind of information. Okay, whether it's an email or a username or a password. We will use hints a lot with edit texts. Okay, and one more attribute I want you to know about is the background for edit texts, because as you can see, you have an underline right here, which is not always required as per your design, and you can remove it by setting a background of, for example, white. Okay, as you can see in the preview, it was removed. And if you feel that the edit text is too small right there, you can add some padding. Okay, give it a padding of 12 dp, and as you can see, the edit text expanded again. Let's rerun the application like that. Check your emulator, and there you go. You don't have an underline anymore. Okay, those are some of the attributes of edit texts in XML. Now, let's see how we can listen to the user input inside our Kotlin code. Okay, let's change the ID of this edit text. Let's call it something like et underscore user underscore input, et for edit text. Go to our main activity, create a new variable. Let's call it et user input equals to find view by ID edit text et underscore user input. Okay, how can we listen to changes that are happening inside this edit text? You can attach a listener to that. Okay, you can do it like this. You can have et user input dot do on text changed. Okay, that's one listener we can attach, and another listener is do after text changed. Okay, and let's attach some logs so that you can see what happens as the user is typing. Okay, let's attach 4 logs here according to the name of the function. Let's do the same for after text changed, and let's log this data basically. Okay, let's log the start and the text and the start and the start before count, and here we have it.toString, the toString function which we will need for these properties. Okay, there you go. Run your application again. Open your logcat and copy and paste do on text change right there. Okay, inside the edit text, let's enter a character. Let's say it's called T. Okay, as you can see, 4 logs got fired right here, which are these. Okay, the first one for the text, and the second one for the start, and the other ones for the before and count as well. Let's enter some more characters like T and H, and as you can see here, the text is changing as we're typing. Okay, that's the text property. The start is also changing. We started at index 0, and now we're at index 1. The other attributes are not changing for this example, so I want you to pay attention to the text and the start. Okay, if you rerun your application, you can notice that these are very helpful. Okay, let's say we created a new character, which is called T in this case. As you can see, the text was now equal to T and the start is now 0. Okay, if I enter an H, the text is now TH and the start is 1. Let's say I deleted the H. As you can see, the new text is T and the start is still at 1 here. And if I delete that as well, as you can see, the new text is an empty string, basically. Okay, and the start is now equal to 0. So you can check, for example, if the text is an empty string like that. And if the start is equal to 0, this means that the user erased all of the input right here. Okay. And if the start is equal to 0 and the text right here is not empty, that means the user entered the first character in this edit text. Okay, that can be particularly useful in some use cases. Now let's check the do after text changed. Okay, let's delete that log. And here, as you can see, you also have access to the text itself. Okay, first we wrote T, then H, and then we deleted all of that. And that's basically the difference between on text changed and after text changed. You use this as the user is typing. If you want to validate something, maybe you want to change the color of another view, maybe you want to display an error regarding some input validation, and you use this function which processes the user's input after he finishes writing. Okay, that's when to use the on text changed and the after text changed. Okay, I'm going to show you a small example for the on text changed. Okay, and how you can benefit from text and start in this case. Here you can see I added some code. So I'm checking for start if it's equal to 0 and the text is null or empty, basically. The user would have erased the whole text. Okay. Else, if start equals to 0 and the text is not null or empty, then the user has entered the very first character. And similarly, if none of these conditions are satisfied, that means the user is just modifying the input. Okay, let's run this and check how it works. So here you can see the application, and here I have my logs opened. Okay, let's go and enter a character T. As you can see, the user has entered the first character T. Let's enter another character for H. The user has modified the text right here. New full text is TH. Erase the H. The same log happens. Erase the T. The user has erased all input. Okay, and that's particularly useful in a lot of use cases. And that's when I suggest to use do on text changed. Okay. If you find my type of content to be relatable, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for future content, and I'll see you in the next video.